Picture this for a second. The arena lights cut out, total darkness. Then a single spotlight hits the tunnel.
Oh, yeah.
And the crowd noise isn't just loud, right? It's physical. It's a roar that you actually feel right in your chest. A mix of nervous energy, cheap beer, and pure adrenaline. You can practically smell the sweat and the resin in the air. Then the bell rings. Ding. Two fighters step toward the center. It is raw, it is visceral, and it is happening right now.
It really is. And honestly, it's one of the few experiences left in modern entertainment that demands your total undivided attention. You cannot second screen a knockout. You just can't look away.
You really can't. And for decades, that intensity, that lightning in a bottle, was a very, very exclusive asset.
Yeah.
If you wanted to be the person capitalizing on that energy, the promoter or the organizer, you needed deep, deep pockets.
Oh, massive pockets.
Right. We're talking satellite trucks, massive rights deals with, HBO or Showtime, and gatekeepers in suits deciding if your fight was basically worthy of airtime.
It was a completely closed shop, high barrier to entry, high risk. If you weren't in the club, you were essentially invisible.
But today,
Yeah.
we are looking at a completely different landscape for you to jump into. The satellite truck is gone, and it's been replaced by the cloud.
It's a total paradigm shift. I mean, the power dynamic has literally moved from the network executives to the local gym.
So today we are doing a deep dive into the business of boxing in the digital age. Specifically, we're looking at how to monetize live boxing streams. We've combed through documentation from the Muvi One platform, specifically their breakdown on how promoters, leagues, and even individual fighters are bypassing those networks entirely to build their own media empires.
And what's fascinating here is that we aren't just talking about selling tickets at the door anymore. That's the old world.
Right.
If you're only selling physical tickets, you're leaving so much money on the table. The new world is about digital distribution that turns a local fight night in, say, a 500-seat gym, into a global revenue stream.
And the mission for this deep dive is simple. We are going to unpack the specific business models, pay-per-view subscriptions, ads, and the hybrid approach that make this possible for you. And we'll look at the tech stack, specifically Muvi Live and their AI engine, LAAI, that's actually powering this whole revolution.
Let's get into it.
I want to start with the why, because you can have the best streaming technology in the world, you can have 4K cameras and perfect audio, but if the psychology of the viewer isn't there, the business model just fails. So why is boxing such a high-value streaming asset compared to, say, streaming a video game or a podcast or even a regular season baseball game?
It comes down to the nature of the content versus the nature of the consumer. Most media we consume now is on demand. You binge a sitcom on a Tuesday night or maybe a Saturday morning.
Whatever you want.
Exactly. It doesn't matter when you watch it, the content is evergreen. But boxing is inherently event-driven.
It has an expiration date.
It does. It creates what economists call natural scarcity. Once that bell rings, the experience is happening right now. If you miss the knockout live, you've missed the moment entirely. You've missed the cultural conversation at the water cooler the next day. And that creates a massive psychological trigger in the audience FOMO, fear of missing out.
So they aren't just passively watching content on a screen, they are witnessing an event.
Yes, that urgency makes them far more willing to open their wallets than they would be for evergreen content. But there is a second layer to the psychology here, which is loyalty.
Boxing fans are, well, intense. I think that's a fair word.
They are incredibly invested, and this is a key point from the source material we looked at. Boxing fans don't just watch the sport generally. They follow specific narratives. They follow a specific fighter from their hometown, or they follow a specific gym's fighting style. They're part of a very real local community.
That's interesting. So when you ask them to pay for a stream, they don't view that payment as a barrier like they might with, say, a random cable bill.
No, not at all. They view it as access. They view it as support. It's not a fee to them. It's a way to back the fighter they've been following since the amateur days. That emotional investment is the foundation of all the monetization models we're about to discuss. If you don't have that connection, the paywall is just a wall. But if you do, the paywall becomes a VIP rope.
I love that distinction, the VIP rope. So let's get down to brass tacks. We have the emotion, we have the audience. How do we turn that into cash? The source material outlines 4 core models.
Yep.
The first one is the heavyweight champion of monetization, pay-per-view or PPV.
The classic.
We all know PPV from the big Mike Tyson or Floyd Mayweather days. But does this actually work for the little guy? How does this apply to an independent promoter using a platform like Muvi?
Well, the definition hasn't changed. It's still a one-time fee to access a specific live event. What has changed is the accessibility and the scale. You used to need a massive cable carrier to offer PPV because you needed their infrastructure to handle the billing and the signal.
Right.
Now, using Muvi Live, an independent promoter can set this up themselves. It's the most direct revenue model. Ticket in, stream out.
And who is this best for? Are we just talking about title fights here?
Obviously, it works great for championship fights, but the source material highlights a rising trend that relies heavily on PPV, which is influencer or celebrity boxing matches.
Oh, absolutely. That scene is just huge right now. YouTubers fighting TikTokers.
It sounds silly to the purists, but it is big, big business. And PPV is perfect for that because it is spectacle-based. It's a one-off event. But even for regional events, if you have a high-profile local rivalry, say, two gyms from the same city that just hate each other, PPV works because the scarcity is high.
Now, I have to play devil's advocate here for a second. If I'm a smaller promoter, I'm terrified of technical issues. But I'm also absolutely terrified of piracy. You put up a paywall, and 5 minutes later, someone is restreaming it for free on social media.
Yeah.
How does a platform like Muvi actually handle that?
That is the #1 anxiety for promoters, hands down. The source material emphasizes that on a platform like Muvi, PPV isn't just a payment gateway. It involves critical security layers. First, you need the ability to set fixed ticket prices easily, but more importantly, you need DRM, digital rights management.
Can you unpack DRM for the non-technical listener?
Mm-hmm.
What is it actually doing behind the scenes?
Think of it as a digital seal on the envelope. It encrypts the stream so that it can only be unlocked by the specific authenticated user who paid for it. It prevents the video player from being ripped by screen recording software or restreaming tools.
So it stops the old one person pays, 1,000 people watch scenario.
Exactly. If your business model is selling tickets, leakage is fatal. You need that security infrastructure. The takeaway here is that even a small promotion can generate meaningful revenue if the price matches the audience's expectation, provided you have the security to ensure everyone watching has actually paid.
Okay, that makes sense. Moving on to Model 2. This requires a completely different mindset. This is the long game. We're talking about subscription access. This feels like the Netflixification of the boxing gym.
It really is. And this requires a shift in thinking for the promoter. PPV is transactional, one night, one fight. Subscription is relational. It's all about recurring revenue.
But here's the snag. Netflix has thousands of shows. A promoter might only have a fight night once every 3 months. Who is going to pay a monthly fee for that?
That's the catch. You cannot run a subscription model on scarcity. You run it on consistency. This model fits organizations that generate constant content. The source material points to amateur boxing leagues or even training gyms that broadcast sparring sessions.
Sparring sessions. Really, people pay to watch practice.
Think about the superfan or the real student of the game. If you're a high-level boxing academy, maybe you have a famous coach. You have people all over the world who want to learn your specific techniques. They might not pay $50 for a local fight, but they will absolutely pay $10 a month to watch daily training, sparring, and technical breakdowns.
I see. So you're pivoting from purely entertainment to education and access.
Precisely. It increases the lifetime value of the customer. If you rely solely on PPV, your income spikes and crashes. It's feast or famine. With subscriptions, you can project your cash flow. You know you have $5,000 coming in next month, regardless of whether there is a big fight on the calendar.
And does the tech actually support this differentiation?
Yes. Muvi Live supports flexible billing cycles and, crucially, tiered access levels.
Tiered access is smart. So walk me through what that looks like for a typical gym.
Maybe the bronze tier creates a steady trickle $5 a month for access to the fight archives. Silver gets you the live monthly matches. But the gold tier, that gets you the live sparring, the locker room cams, the live Q&A with the head coach.
You're segmenting the audience based on their obsession level.
Correct. You monetize a casual fan differently than the hardcore student.
All right, let's pivot to Model 3, the billboard, advertising and sponsorship. This is the free model, right? Or at least free to the viewer.
Yes, this is the ad-supported model. This is ideal when your primary goal is maximizing reach. Maybe you're a brand new promotion, nobody knows who your fighters are yet. You don't want to put up a paywall that scares people away. You want eyeballs.
So how does the money actually flow in this scenario?
Just like traditional TV, but a lot smarter. You have pre-roll and mid-roll video ads commercials that play before the stream starts or during the breaks. But in boxing, you have unique formats that fit the sport's specific rhythm. The source mentions sponsored rounds.
Oh, like Round 3 is brought to you by Joe's Auto Body.
Exactly. Or branded overlays and lower thirds, those graphics that pop up on the lower part of the screen with a logo and a special offer. And of course, sponsor shoutouts during the breaks between rounds.
But wait, I have to ask the same question I asked earlier. If I'm a local gym streaming a fight, why would a big advertiser care? I'm not the Super Bowl. I'm not reaching millions of people.
That's the nuance. You aren't the Super Bowl, and you shouldn't try to sell yourself as the Super Bowl. Your value proposition is that your audience is highly engaged and geographically concentrated.
Local hero effect.
Exactly. A local car dealership or a regional brewery knows that everyone watching that stream is likely within driving distance or deeply involved in that specific local community. The targeting is incredible. You aren't paying for waste. You aren't paying to show a car ad to someone 3 states away who will never visit your lot.
So a smaller audience, but a much more valuable one per capita for the right sponsor.
Yes, it's the niche advantage.
Okay, so we've got PPV for the blockbuster nights, subscriptions for the steady drip, and ads for the reach play. But the source material suggests the real power move is Model 4, the hybrid.
The combo. This is where you stop thinking in binary terms. You don't have to choose just one. In fact, the most successful digital media companies rarely do.
So what does a hybrid strategy look like in the wild? Paint me a picture of a user journey on a fight night.
Okay, imagine this. You promote a fight night. You make the undercard rounds, the early fights with the rookies, completely free to watch.
Supported by ads.
Right. You blast that link everywhere on social media. Watch the undercard for free. That gets people in the digital door. You hook them with the action, the adrenaline starts pumping. Then as you approach the main event, the free stream ends.
And up pops the paywall.
Boom. To watch the main event, click here to buy the PTV ticket. You've already qualified the lead, they are watching, they're excited, and now, for a reasonable fee, they can finish the night.
That is the classic upsell.
But you can go even further. For the superfans, you offer a premium subscription right then and there that gives them backstage access, locker room cams, or exclusive replays the very next day. So you have 3 revenue streams from one single event. Ad revenue from the casuals, PPV revenue from the fans, and subscription revenue from the diehards.
That is really sophisticated.
Yeah.
It feels like maximizing the wallet share of every single person who clicks the link.
It is. And the beauty is platforms like Muvi Live allow broadcasters to experiment with these combos seamlessly. You don't have to rebuild your entire tech stack every time you want to try a new pricing strategy. You can evolve as your audience grows. Maybe you start with ads, then move to hybrid, then eventually to subscription only.
That segues perfectly into the next section. We've talked about the business models, but I want to talk about the tech enabler. Because hearing all this, paywalls, tiered subscriptions, dynamic ad insertion, it sounds expensive and it sounds really complicated. If I'm a boxing promoter, I know how to wrap hands. I don't know how to code a server.
And 5 years ago, that would have stopped you dead in your tracks.
But the source material talks about the democratization of this tech.
That's the key word. Muvi One and Muvi Live are designed as no-code or low-code solutions. You don't need a dedicated IT department. One of the things that stood out in the documentation was the live app capability.
This allows you to launch your own branded app, right?
Yes, and it's cross-device. This is crucial for sports. People do not want to watch a 3-hour fight hunched over a laptop. They want to watch it on the big screen in their living room with their friends. The Muvi ecosystem supports streaming on iOS, Android, Roku, Apple TV, Fire TV, the works.
That is wild to think about. A local gym having their own official channel on Roku, sitting right next to Netflix and Hulu.
It legitimizes the brand instantly. It signals to the viewer, hey, this is a professional production.
But here is where it gets really interesting. Let's talk about the AI. The source material mentions Ailey AI, which is Muvi's AI engine. And the features listed here are kind of mind-blowing for a boxing context.
This connects back to the global scalability we mentioned. One of the huge features is AI dubbing.
Right. Explain how this changes the game for a local fight.
Okay, traditionally, if you are a Mexican promoter, your commentary is in Spanish. Your market is the Spanish-speaking world. If a fan in Japan wants to watch, they have to deal with the language barrier. It creates friction.
And friction kills sales.
Exactly. Ailey AI can translate content into over 75 languages. But not just subtitles. We're talking full AI dubbing. So you have a fight happening in a local gym in Mexico, and a subscriber in Tokyo is hearing the commentary in natural Japanese.
That completely changes the potential market size. You aren't limited by your native language anymore.
It makes every fight a global asset. And then there's AI chaptering. Boxing matches can be very long broadcasts, 3, sometimes 4 hours.
And a lot of that is downtime.
Right.
Ring walks, waiting for judges, the intermission.
Right. AI can automatically split the broadcast into chapters. Round 1, round 2, knockout, post-fight interview.
So for the fan watching the replay, they can jump straight to the action they care about.
Exactly. It improves the user experience without a human editor having to sit there and manually timestamp everything for hours. It's all about retention. If I can't find the knockout in 10 seconds, I might close the app. AI fixes that.
There was one other AI feature that caught my eye, specifically for boxing: AI compliance. Now, boxing is a violent sport. There is blood. There is intense physical contact.
Yes. And this is critical. Different regions have very different regulations on what can be shown. Some countries have strict rules about broadcasting excessive gore or violence before a certain time of day.
So how does the AI handle that?
AI can automate regulation checks. It can flag content or ensure that you aren't accidentally violating streaming rules in a specific territory.
Wow, that saves a lot of legal headaches.
It creates a safety net for the broadcaster. It allows you to scale globally without needing a degree in international media law.
So let's zoom out. What does this all mean for you, the listener? We've got the models, PPV, subscriptions, ads. We've got the tech Muvi, apps, AI.
It means the era of the gatekeeper is fading.
We keep coming back to that.
Because it's the most important takeaway from the documentation. Boxing is thriving because it combines that old-school, visceral, emotional investment, the sweat, the timing, the scarcity, with new-school digital flexibility.
The barrier to entry used to be a satellite truck and a contract with a major network.
Now, the barrier to entry is just creativity and execution. The tools are there. You don't need permission to broadcast anymore. You just need to build the audience.
And realizing that the audience is willing to pay if you package it correctly, whether it's a one-off PPV for a big night or a subscription for the hardcore students of the game.
And mixing and matching those models to fit your specific gym or league.
So as we wrap up, I want to leave you with a thought to mull over. We've talked about how a local gym can now broadcast globally with professional monetization and AI dubbing.
Right.
If that's true, are we about to see the end of the traditional scouting network?
That is the provocative question.
Think about it. For 100 years, the path to stardom was simple. Win local fights, hope a scout from a big agency is in the crowd, get signed, get on TV.
It was a physical, location-based funnel.
But what happens when the next Muhammad Ali or Mike Tyson isn't discovered by a network scout sitting in the front row, but by a subscriber in a completely different hemisphere, watching a gym stream that was auto-translated into their language?
It changes the power dynamic of the entire sport. The talent discovery becomes decentralized. The revenue becomes decentralized. It puts the power back into the hands of the fighters and the gyms. They own the footage. They own the audience.
And that, my friends, is a knockout punch for the industry as we know it.
Indeed it is. A brave new world.
That's it for this deep dive. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you in the ring or on the stream for the next one.